Welcome to Apocalypse. I'm going to take Stephen, someone who, like many people, takes his life for granted, and attempt to make him believe that the world has ended. I want to give him the opportunity to change in a powerful and positive way, and to realize the value of what he has. To start this process, I have to find a way of controlling his access to news and information.
The first stage is to hack into his phone so that I can place fake news stories on websites that he uses. Stephen's brother Barry has volunteered to sneak into his bedroom in the middle of the night to steal it.
How was it?
I got it. So it was all fine. It was pretty intense trying to sneak into someone's bedroom in the middle of the night, but...
And it was all smooth, he didn't notice you, you weren't aware of any...
Every sort of breath and shift he took was quite unnerving.
And this morning, what happened this morning?
This morning he was just really confused.
Yeah. Where did you sit?
I have no idea.
He's next to the sofa and that. He's in the house somewhere.
I thought he would be quite angry that he couldn't find his phone, but he was just up and down searching every nook and cranny. But I just had to reassure him that I'd remember the phone being in the house and it wasn't out.
That is important, because the danger is that he either tries to block this if he thinks it's stolen, or that he comes home at lunchtime and tries to look for it again, which is a worry because that won't give us enough time to do what we need to do. We've got somebody stationed up by his work who'll let us know if he does try and leave. I need to take this through to Ben, who is our hacker. We need to go and make this do what we want it to do. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Brilliant. All right, cheers.
Ben is a top technology whiz kid who gets paid by big corporations to test the security of their communication systems. He's agreed to come to Stephen's house while he's at work and hack into his phone for me. Ben won't let me stay in the room to observe his hacking secrets, so I've left him to work his magic alone.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going?
Yeah, not
Are
bad.
you nearly done, or...?
Yeah, pretty much there. Just doing a little bit of tidying up now. I can show you some cool stuff that we've actually been able to achieve. Grab hold of that, press the button on the phone.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, wow. So you've got on the screen what his phone does. So if I open that, will that open on the screen as well?
It will indeed. Everything's real time.
Okay, so we can now see what he's doing on his phone.
We can.
How have you actually done this?
I guess we can call it a man-in-the-middle attack, if that helps.
Okay, what does that mean?
So it means instead of having his data go from A to B, we're now being man-in-the-middle C and causing everything that he does on the phone to go via us. Because of that, we can see it and we can interact with it.
Excellent.
This means that I can now make my own made-up news items appear to be on legitimate websites that Stephen uses.
So these are all real stories, and this one here is a test news story.
It is indeed.
About a kitten.
This is first steps towards intercepting the stories. You can see we can replace our own content, our own pictures,
And that just sits there within the news app.
as if it's supposed to be there.
That's fantastic. And this now allows us to ratchet things up a little bit, and we can start to feed these stories into his life.
For good measure, we've also hacked into Stephen's computer, and I can feed news items to his family's phones too. So with that done, it's time to let him find his mobile again. 21-year-old Stephen from Buckinghamshire. I've chosen him because his character makes him particularly suited to this project.
I'm lazy.
I'm Jack of Hearts. Watch. There you go, look, one card face up.
Whoa!
The Jack of